Hey, fight fans, we are just minutes removed from crowning an undisputed lightweight champion. Devin Haney went over to Australia, handled business in defeating George Kambosos by unanimous decision. Not surprising to a lot of people, but let's go over the performance. I have for you five quick things, five quick takeaways from the performance and where we go from here. So, first thing that comes to mind, death by 1,000 jabs. Haney jabbed this man's head off. It was his primary punch. Didn't really need to do much else. It was his most effective punch. Kambosos couldn't do anything with it. The footwork kept him at long range and at distance. He kind of was relegated to trying to land the overhand right, but he needed to have cooperation from Haney. And Haney, for the most part, wasn't given to him. After like a tight first round where you can tell there were nerves, even nerves a little bit into the second round, but after that, Haney just jabbed his head off for the entire fight. You can see the damage on Kambosos' face. He was never in any serious trouble. I wish Haney did unleash that right hand a little bit more. I don't know if he felt George's physical strength or just the power still in his punches, but he basically tamed him with the jab. It was almost like like a Paulie Malignaggi type of performance, just on a higher level. Just kept the distance, kept him at the end of the jab. Only had a few moments where he went to the ropes temporarily, but even then, George couldn't really land that right hand on him. Second thing, the mind games fell completely flat. You know, Kambosos tried everything leading in, calling Haney a snitch, basically saying he betrayed his country by giving him uh, backhand information about Teofimo Lopez, all that stuff that he was trying to do beforehand. Pretty much the things that made Teofimo fight angry and fight stupid in their fight didn't affect Haney at all. There was no emotion in him except for a couple of the roughhouse tactics, but he stayed composed the entire fight. Didn't get out of character, didn't get sloppy in there. You know, pretty much there was nothing that Kambosos could do. Kambosos did try and get a little bit dirty, a little bit physical with some forearms to the throat and things like that. Didn't affect Haney whatsoever. There was nothing that he can do there. Number three, there was really no plan B for Kambosos. After realizing that Haney was not going to get reckless with him, there was pretty much nothing he can do. Um, Pretty much was trying to land the overhand right the entire fight. The only thing he did a little bit differently towards the end, he did try and fire off a couple body shots, particularly in the 11th round, but it was too little too late. You know, Haney was in complete cruise control. Nothing that they can do. There's levels to this. You know, Haney is just a superior fighter. There was really not too much physically that Kambosos can do outside of hoping for a miracle shot. Number four, with all the talk about the star power, we know Tank is the biggest quote unquote star in the division. But when it comes to recognition and who is the top fighter, all roads lead now to Devin Haney. We can even see it tonight on Twitter, on social media. All the talk was about Devin, even between Tank and Ryan Garcia. They were going back and forth, but all eyes were on that Tank fight. I mean, excuse me, on that Haney fight. So he is the undisputed champion. That makes him number one at lightweight. He's the man that beat the man. ESPN and Top Rank are in still a good position, you know, because Lomachenko is going to be coming back. That's an option. Eventually, Shakur is going to move up from 130. That's another option. We still don't know what Navarrete is going to do, if he's going to try and go up a little bit more, because he's a big guy, you know, even 130, 135. So Haney has all the options, and the belts are going to be at home. So I think his next 2 to 3, 4 fights are already kind of sewn up as far as what he's going to do. So, and ESPN is the perfect platform. Number five, even with all that said, there is a rematch clause. The word I'm already hearing from over there in the post-fight press conference, as Kambosos has made his intentions known, he plans to exercise the rematch clause. That makes perfect sense. We can complain as far as it being a near shutout, even though the scorecards were a little bit closer than what I thought the fight was. But he wasn't severely damaged. You know, he was outclassed, but he wasn't badly beaten up, wasn't knocked out. He has no reason not to take that rematch and try and get that money as far as Kambosos goes. So the problem is going to be, how is ESPN and Top Rank going to sell that? Because I'm expecting that arena to be half empty. After what the Australian fans saw tonight, I don't see them coming out in droves for that rematch. I don't see how they're going to be able to hype it. It's going to be a very hard sell. When we've had big Australian matches before, the Jeff Horn Manny Pacquiao fight pretty much sold itself. The rematch would have sold itself too, with all the controversy from the first fight in that decision. Going back a little bit further, showing my age, when Jeff Fenech, when he fought Azuma Nelson, there was that controversy with the first fight being a draw. Everyone was on board for the rematch, which Nelson won. This one, there was no controversy, clear outclass, clear levels as far as opponents go. Everybody saw it. Kambosos had nothing for Haney. So there's no reason to think the rematch won't go any different. There's really nothing I can see Haney, Kambosos doing besides trying to up his punch output. And that's easier said than done, where you're getting a hard jab stuck in your face. For all the talk about Haney being, feather-fisted and not being a big puncher, that jab was very stiff, and anytime it connected, it was knocking Kambosos' head back. That's very jarring for a fighter and very jarring to try and push through, as easy as it may seem on the outside. Just go through it, throw punches. Easy to say when you're not the one getting your head snapped back. So I don't see anything going differently. That's my first 5 impressions from the card and from the outcome. We'll see where both guys go from here. We're going to get the rematch, hopefully sooner than later, to get this out of the way. So we're in June. I would hope we can get this done by probably December, because there's talk now that we're going to be getting Spence and Crawford sometime in November. So I would say try and get this fight done by early December, before the holidays, and just get it over with, so we're not dealing with this going into 2023. So let me hear your thoughts. Were you disappointed in Haney's performance? Did you expect a unanimous decision? Are you going to be tuned in for the rematch? Let me know your thoughts. And most importantly, when Lomachenko comes back, who I think is going to be next in line after this rematch, who do you think wins that one? Do you stick with Devin as a younger, bigger fighter? Or do you think the skills that Lomachenko has will be too much for Haney? So let me hear your thoughts, guys.